Kaylie Johnson originates from the beautiful city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and is the former vice president of Central Michigan University's Dogma-Free Society, and she was a former SSA intern while I used to work for the SSA. She has a BA in English with a concentration in creative writing, and Kaylie spends most of her time writing poetry and consuming endless amounts of media, such as book, TVs, movies, comic books, and right now, Pokemon Go. Kaylie's going to be talking to us today about working with other campus groups, so please welcome Kaylie Johnson.
Woo! Hey guys. Big crowd. Feel free to catch Pokemon on me while I'm playing. If you can get a picture of me with something like a Pokemon on me, I'll give you however much money is in my wallet. It's not a lot, so sorry. So yeah, okay. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Kaylie. If you do know me, hi, I'm Kaylie. So I was going to give an introduction, then she did that, and I'm like, well, I don't know. Okay. So working with other campus groups, I'm going to be honest here, I think this is probably the most important thing for a group success, especially smaller groups. I come from a group that fluctuates weirdly with how many people are coming to our meetings. There's 1 week we have 14, 15, and the next week there's 3 of us. And we just are well, let's just go get pizza instead, which is fine. But I think working with other campus groups is the best way to bring in new members and also promote your group image. So, but you will get the spoilers right now. So why is it important? As I said, it builds a relationship, promotes group image. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, is that if you're a small group or a large group, your image is just going to be better if you're out there talking to people, making friends. It also creates diversity in your group, because let me tell you, if you have a group with 2 guys and a girl, and you all are just there every single week, and a new person comes in, and then you all go, and you look at the door and you see these new people, you're like, hello, new person. You want that diversity, because if it's the same, thanks for the snaps. I like snaps, by the way. Snap for me. If you have the same people every single week, and those people are kind of homogenous in whatever sense, it's not going to be the most productive and what's the word I'm looking for? Another word. What?
Vibrant.
Vibrant. Sure, let's go with vibrant community. And furthermore, makes connections for future events. Matt likes to talk about how if you know people, you can get them to do stuff for you. It actually happens. And it's good. Or give you money. Well, that's a doing thing for you kind of stuff. That was a sentence I just said. I can't repeat it. I don't know what it was, but I liked it. So this is just going to be my rough outline. General involvement tips, because you can't succeed if you have nobody who wants to succeed. Introduction to the different kinds of campus groups you can work with. There are literally endless amounts and different kinds. Yeah. And how and why to work with those groups. First off, we've all got e-boards. Some of our e-boards are not great. If you're here, your e-board is probably great. But if you're, say, a graduating e-board member and you're afraid for your upcoming e-board, you are going to want to listen here. You need passionate, hardworking e-board members. I feel like a lot of other groups that I reach out to from other campuses, they're like, yeah, I do all the work. This one president or vice president or somebody does all the work. Good things happen. Speaking of members, hey guys. Hey. So yeah, you need a good e-board who's going to get stuff done, who actually wants to work with people and reach out. You need, okay, this is what I like. If you are planning an event, you just make a sort of team to tackle this event. If you're we're going to have a table for World Contraception Day, that's what we did. It was cool. Just one person's going to lead it, and then you're going to get other people to help out with the event. Not everyone has to do it, but that's what can happen. And also, when you're getting your own group to be involved in the events, the members, not the e-board members, then you get future leaders, which is awesome. Follow groups on social media. you're going to be swamped with things on your social media if you do this, but it'll be worth it. If you're trying to run a successful group, you need to know what other groups on campus are doing because you want to be involved in those things as well. And also making friends. Just make friends. You won't regret it, probably. You might regret it. If you regret it, just be like, new friends. Gonna go get new friends. Better friends. Okay, what kind of groups can you work with? These are some examples. Social justice, political, interfaith, and other. So social justice groups, we all kind of know what this is. It was really hard to put these in categories. I really only did it just for this talk because to kind of point you in directions. I'm trying to give you things that aren't obvious. So when you're working with social justice groups, these are your kind of support groups for like gender, race, faith, sexuality, etc., feminist groups and whatnot. So I think with social justice particularly, you want to think about the whole allyship thing. Being there for them is just really important. Right now, we're seeing a lot of social justice, that's such a hard thing to say, social justice groups who really just want other people to be there for them. So if you're trying to work with your campus, like sexuality, wait, what do you? Yeah, okay, so like,
Urge.
What? Urge, okay, go with that, yeah. Like gender and sexuality groups on campus. You don't want to go in there and try to like be a part of everything they're doing just to do it. You really want to care and you want to be their ally. And I got a good tip from the Flint group. A cool event that they did was to ally with some LGBT groups and like the medical college to do a sort of health event where you talk about healthcare as it relates to LGBTQ people. They got professors to give extra credit to their students for attending. Yeah, that's great. If you can get a professor to do that for you, do it. Like, absolutely. Okay, political groups. So this is an interesting one. This is actually one of the more relevant groups, I would say, because we have election season coming. Well, it's here, but we're having elections. You probably knew that. And you want to work with these groups. It's kind of scary because you don't want to be alienating, but you also want to be politically active. And I know that a lot of people at this conference have talked about it, on how to be politically active as a group without like overstepping your boundaries, just like personally or as a group. Maybe your group doesn't want to do certain things. So your party groups. Our group worked with the libertarians. They were interesting. Libertarians will like work with you because free speech. That's what we did. So you don't have to really be a part of the party system, but SSA recommends that you focus on what am I trying to say? It's here, issues. Focus on the issues and not the candidates, I think is the best tip. Because if you're a branded group, do we have any branded groups here? You're a branded group, just you. Okay, well if you're a branded group, there is a rule. Basically you can't affiliate or support a specific candidate, party, whatever. And non-branded groups, you really don't have any rules to stick by, but honestly, I'm gonna just give the advice to try and stick to the issues instead of the candidates, because if not everybody in your group is gonna be liberal, progressive, atheist people, some of them are gonna be a little bit more conservative, and you want that diversity. Again, you want it. Yes?
I would say if your employer identification number lists you as a nonprofit, then the same rules as the SSA branded groups applies.
Oh.
So you have to know whether if you list your taxes as nonprofit, you're not allowed to support specific. So we're not branded, but we are a nonprofit, so we also follow the same rules as
right.
A branded.
That's a great point. Thank you. I didn't know that. So yeah, be careful about the rules of that. That's why I just say be safe and just kind of just focus on the issues, because that's really what we're about, right? We want to promote these secular values through issues. That's what I just said. I just like talking. Okay, so what can you do? Just actual events that you can do. I would say for political events, protests are probably one of the things that are going to get you the most attention on campus. I don't know, because sometimes protests just happen after things happen, and you can kind of jump on the bandwagon. That sounds kind of weird, but if you're a small group, organizing a big protest or like some sort of peaceful thing on campus is hard to do. So this is, again, why you want to see what other groups are doing. If another group is out there protesting the campus preacher, like, go and do that with them, because that's what you're showing your campus, what you're about. You're showing them what you believe in. Education, participation, advocacy. These are kind of, I guess, the 3 routes I described. Again, not like a thing that's set in stone, but this is just if you're working with these groups, this is pretty much where you're at. You can focus on the issues by educating, like I said. Participate, support group events that educate on issues. So these are going to be things like reproductive rights. If your group supports that, but none of you know what you're doing, go to events that support this. See what other groups are doing. And advocacy, co-hosting events that promote secularism and policy. This is big because we're secular, obviously, and we want to promote these things. So, I mean, I say co-hosting, but really just be there. If you can get your name attached to it, I've seen that a lot at this conference. People are saying, just go and like participate and say, I want to be a part of this. This is our group. And they'll say, hey, these are the groups that participated in this, and there's your name. Boom, you're there. Also, interfaith. There was a talk on this, so I'm not going to go into too much depth, but interfaith collaboration is not just debates. I put debates on there because it can be fun, but this is mostly about busting stereotypes. And I mean, you can do debates. Here's the thing. Let's get our name out there and look good for these other groups before we go debate them, because if you're just fighting with these, like crew, for example, if you're just fighting with them, it might not be the best for your image. Something that a resource that's on the SSA website is to do, what's it called? It's like bidding for, send an atheist to church, that's what it is. So you can like fundraise for your group by getting your group members to go to these churches. So like, say you have like jars for which church you want to go to, and then those churches are going to come and be like, oh, I want these atheists to go to my church. Money, 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 money. They're going to put all the money in their jar. And then you're going to be like, oh, guess we have to go now. And then you have to go to church. But you got a bunch of money. And then these people are like, oh man, these atheists came to our church. They're so open-minded. And not all of us want to go to a church service, but yeah.
We do that.
You do?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Okay. Yeah. Well, we have all the doors. We have like the Mormon Church and Scientology and Catholic and the varieties of Christian, but we also always have one for hell, and that usually gets the most money. And when
Really?
hell wins, we just have a pizza party.
So it's like send an atheist to church or hell?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to send us to church, if you
Oh, so maybe they don't want you at your
suffer,
church.
then you send us to hell. To church is worship.
That's fun. That one usually wins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because usually like the last day, one of us like slips money in there.
Oh. Okay. I see how it is.
I'd rather go to hell.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, either way you win, right? So I think that's a really cool event that can kind of get your name out there with your religious friends on campus, because they're huge. That's a huge percentage of campus. And like our crew is huge and we have so many churches. Like they need to know that we exist, because for some reason they really like talking to us. I mean, they really like talking to atheists about religion, probably because they want to convert you, but also because they really just don't understand. And if you can get them to understand, you're on the right track, and it's going to be successful. So this is what I was very excited for. What is this cutting off? I don't know what this says. I probably do somewhere. So this is what I'm really excited about because I kind of want to hear from everybody else. Oh, I can read it. So these are my other examples because I thought these were more fun. You can collaborate with academic groups. These are things pretty much that my group has done or tried to do, or that I've heard about that works. Philosophy, that's kind of an obvious one. If you have a philosophy society or club or something, hit them up. Bing, go to their groups. Something that I really recommend, if you can, even if your e-board is really small, like try to get every e-board member to be involved in another campus group, at least one, if not multiple, because they're gonna make friends and connections, and they're gonna come to your groups. That's kind of what we did weirdly with philosophy, was that their members started going to our meetings, and we were like, well, okay, we'll go to your meetings. So we started going to their meetings, and then they'd come to our events. That also happened for a while with the libertarians. So you really don't know who you're going to ally with. A lot of groups here were saying that their group was pretty much the LGBT group, and that didn't happen for us. So I was kind of surprised to see that. It doesn't totally surprise me, but you know, if that's the case for your group, if your group is the same as another group, the same members, it's just a different like title, you're going to want to do some reaching out. And I think working with those other groups outside of the two that exist is going to be the best bet. Hobby groups, sports, games, and then you can't see it, but it says bees, ? So I thought it was funny, and now it's ruined. Greek life. Hey, and I don't know, anybody in Greek life here? Vicky is. Nobody else.
It's weird, but yeah.
It's weird, she says. You can do it though. We were going to try to do stuff. And also professors is on here because professors are sort of a great resource for getting students to go to your meetings and events, like I said with the extra credit thing. So, yeah. I do want to ask if anybody has any like ideas to collaborate, because I don't want to be talking anymore. Not really.
Can I expand on something?
Hold on. We had a hand back there first.
Yes, another group that we realized we could cooperate with yesterday was Geology Club.
Geology.
They take such offense to creationist nonsense.
Okay.
They don't understand their science. I mean,
That's why I have anthropology up there as well.
I'm sorry. I missed
No, it's different. It is. I mean, anthropology this is like everything ever in one thing. Okay, I sneakily put up flyers in the anthropology classes and got one of my classmates to go to our event, so it worked. Find out where they hang out and just like put some flyers on a table or something and say, come to our event.
Should put like a snack out there too.
Put a snack. Pop rocks? Rock candy? What?
Milk and cookies for
Milk and
Geology
cookies.
Santa.
Geology Santa for Charles. Okay, wait, Vicky. No? Okay, you can, yes.
So you also shouldn't forget about local atheist and secular organizations.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to partner next semester with the Satanic Temple, which is basically the atheist trolls.
Yeah.
So we're very excited.
Nice. Yes, I like the Satanists.
I was going to say faculty, like you touched on it, like they can be a really good asset. I met with our advisor after being in it for a year. I hadn't seen her this entire year, and I finally met up with her and was telling her about our events. And she's like, oh, well, I'll tell the department chair, and they'll tell everyone else, and their students will know about it now. So like the entire philosophy department just like knows now that we exist and that we have events. So same with the biology department. They stopped by our table and was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
So talking to faculty and getting them to tell their students means each lecture, if they had 100 people, and they're like, hey, DFS, 100 more people you never met just know you exist.
Right.
So they do that every single classroom if you talk to them and get them to support.
See, and that's why I think that like working with other campus groups, even if it's just campus groups and not outside groups, is one of the most important things you can do, because campus is your membership. These are the people that are going to be in your group. If you don't get them in the first week of classes, it's going to be hard to pull them in just from doing nothing. So you're going to want to go out there and like wrangle them somehow. You have to make them interested, and you have to make them know that you exist.
Writing on
Yeah.
whiteboards if you're allowed to.
Whiteboards. Yeah, you got to check, definitely check your campus rules about promoting yourself. Yeah.
Chalking!
Also chalking.
Chalking!
If you don't live in Michigan, it's great, but sometimes Michigan sucks. Do we have a hand back there? Or are you just stretching? No?
I'm so sorry.
Just taking a stretch? That's fine. Yeah.
So it never actually happened, but I did have an idea, like in parallel to the interfaith, like having like a penny war.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
Like, whoever wins, like each group will donate like $10 to them, but keep the rest of their money.
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
a
that.
great thing. I remember we wanted to do that, but the logistics of it were weird.
Yeah.
But I had fundraising up there with Interfaith, and I think that's a great idea because if you get churches or just religious groups in general to see that you're doing a fundraiser for like a charity, they're gonna be like, these atheists are so charitable. And then you can say, hey, let's do it together, and suddenly you're even better. And you just look like angels, and they're like, how are you atheists? You're angels. So, yeah, I think that that's really great. I think, as we've all said, like, really make allies of the religious folk, because they're gonna, not only are you going to learn about each other, but, and this sounds weird, and this isn't, you shouldn't convert them, but some of them are gonna come to you and say, like, I don't know about my group anymore, but I know about your group, and it sounds like something I'd rather be a part of. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that go to like Crew or whatever just because it's a group of people that are nice to them.
Right.
They don't necessarily agree with all the things that like Crew says, or they'll have like convinced themselves that they agreed with Crew, but like deep down there's like seeds of doubt or whatever. And when you start doing events with them, especially if it's like a positive interaction where you're both like learning about each other, those people will be like, oh yeah, I don't believe this. And so it's a good opportunity.
Right.
Crew thinks that they'll convert you guys, and you think that like maybe you'll get some of them to come to your meetings. But even like you should encourage Crew people to come to your meetings anyway. Like
Right.
having diverse perspectives at meetings is really good.
Oh yeah, I think, yeah, and definitely along the lines of the diversity thing, when you get other people, diverse minds into your group, it's a good idea to kind of lay out your rules for discussion. Our group was very discussion based, and so if you open it up to, we have a bunch of Crew people attending our meeting, do make sure that they understand that it's a discussion and they're not in there to convert you, and you're not in there to bash them, but it is an open sort of discussion, because you don't want them to overtake you. You want to be their friend, and you want to understand each other. So work with them. That's kind of, I guess, is my favorite preposition today, with. Yeah, yes.
We've had trouble with groups refusing to work with us. And like
Yeah?
not in the groups that you would expect. Like you would expect, it's the religious ones or whatever. But like we tried to organize, so like my campus has an astronomy guild or whatever, and they do like star watching nights on the roof of one of the buildings that has like big telescopes. And we tried to organize like a star party with them where like because that's a thing that they do. We were like, hey, we'll come too.
Yeah.
And, like, do a thing together. And they wouldn't do it with us.
Really?
Which is weird. Like you would think, astronomy, they're all going to be a bunch of STEM majors.
Did they give you a reason?
Basically that they had religious members who wouldn't be comfortable. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna go spout atheism.
Yeah.
We just
Probably
wanna look
more
at stars
scared that you
too.
were too close to God and he was going to throw down a lightning bolt.
See, that's weird, because we have like Paul in our group, and he would always invite us to our like star things, that's what you call them, to star things. So that seems like a really specific issue for your campus, and that sucks.
May just be a case of being in Texas, so.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, it's,
Well, you didn't say Texas.
I'm in Austin, which is
Right,
like
right.
the best part of Texas.
Austin
Yeah.
is the liberal mecca in Texas.
Yeah, and yet like shit like this still happens. So.
It seems like your only option then would be to invite them to stuff and convince them.
Right.
Not like baby eating atheists or something.
It-
But-
Yeah,
Other than that,
don't invite them to the barbecue, but like do invite them. Honestly, it is about the image, like I talked about. It is hard if you have a group that doesn't like you for no good reason to kind of fix that, but that's why your group needs to be vocal, and not in the angry atheist way, but in the like, hey, we're here and we do things that aren't just religious events. We do fundraising, we do other stuff, promote that image, the humanist image, because that's a tricky issue, and I hope that it gets fixed, because that sounds really fun.
Yeah, I mean it's weird though because we've had better success working with religious groups. Like we had a religious group approach
Oh,
us,
man.
at us,
Yeah.
and you would think it would be the opposite way around, but
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah. If you ever figure out a solution, like, you do the next talk.
I'll bring it to the
Yeah. You do this next year. Yeah. Yeah, right there.
Add on to that, yeah, we've had really good luck with some religious groups at our campus. In fact, last year's Ask an Atheist, the president of like one of the biggest Christian groups on campus volunteered and like handed out like the questionnaires and like collected them for us. It was really nice. But I was gonna say on your comment about image.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but we get a lot of crazy. I shouldn't say crazy. We get a lot of very vocal Christian pastors who like to come and tell you why you're going to hell. And,
Street preachers.
Yeah. And so if like we have Brother Jed, so we've got the people know about Brother Jed.
Oh,
So
man.
we do this thing called Brother Jed Bingo. So when he comes, we set up a
Yes.
table opposite him. And
Matt is
we
like
have-
freaking out right now.
We have
I did a
sheets
talk
that are
about
like
this last year.
of like the things that
It
he
was
says,
good.
and you can play bingo with it. And so we got those sheets this year. And so like just being there and like kind of being like the slightly sarcastic but like still voice of reason
Yeah.
is like a good. It makes you look good, your club look good,
Yeah.
and like other people are going by like who is this crazy person? And
Yeah.
then they see us kind of like come make fun of him with us.
Come
like,
make.
Yeah, it's fun because we have he preaches in front of this giant, like grassy hill. And everybody just goes and sits and listens
like,
to it.
That would be nice.
And so
Oh, you should give
we're
out
set up in
popcorn.
we're set up in our little
Yes.
booth, just like, hey, do you want bingo?
And if you win, you get
Man.
candy, and we, like,
I wish we had a preacher like
having a good
that.
time and laughing at all the hysterical things that he's saying.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I was told to stop, and I just let everyone keep talking because I like this conversation. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and participating.